everyone, welcome to Studious IELTS. My name is Surinder Chaudhary. In today's video lecture, I have brought to you a workshop related to IELTS writing task 1 in academic part. Well, in academics, you know it very well that you have to write a report upon a given image. That image might be a bar graph or a pie chart or a map or even a process chart. So if you see such question, it becomes very confusing a number of times that what are we supposed to write in this task. So in this workshop, I have brought to you a complete methodology. How can we attempt this question and get good scores in this? And mind you, this part of writing contains 33% of total weightage of your writing evaluation. Well, today we are going to talk about one specific type of these questions, and that is bar graph. A number of times you encounter different kinds of bar graphs comparing different data in your IELTS examination, and evaluator or examiner expects you to write a very good comparative report on it. If you are making good comparison, if you are highlighting the main ideas in a great structure, your writing is going to be great. Okay, so first of all, let's have a look on the question. How does it appear in your examination? There is a bar graph in front of you. The bar graph also contains a title, which is the percentage of part-time workers in each country of the United Kingdom. Well, what do we have to do? We have to understand the question first. The question says, the graph below shows the percentage of part-time workers in each country of the United Kingdom in 1980 and 2010. So there is a clear comparison between two different years. One is 1980 and another one is 2010. And we have four countries. Countries are England, Northern Ireland, Scotland and Wales. These are the countries of United Kingdom, as you know it very well. Well, what you have to do first, whenever the question comes in front of you, it is my suggestion to you that understand the question completely. Have a look on every part of the picture, have a look on every data that has been described in it, then go to the question, what question says, and relate the things with the question. Secondly, you are also supposed to understand the second part of the question, second part of your prompt that is available in your IELTS examination. It says you are supposed to summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. So how would you do that? First of all, you will have to make a summary. Please, let me tell you one thing very clearly. Sometimes students make a very common error by describing the entire data. If you are describing the data, they are not going to be impressed with your answer, because they say that data is already available in the image. We have the data. You don't have to describe that this country has this percentage, this country has this percentage. This is not required by them. What do they require? First of all, you are supposed to make a summary of this data. How do you summarize it matters a lot, because this summarizing process is going to showcase your range in language. Secondly, they also expect that summary to be containing the main features. Main feature means the major highlight of the data. For example, if there is a substantial hike in some data, if there is a decline in a certain kind of data, you are supposed to focus mainly on that. And finally, the most important part of your report is the comparison. Let me explain the purpose of task 1 as well, because task 1 in academic examination is a report writing. And when you are studying there in any English speaking country, when you are studying there, they expect you to be analytical enough to analyze the data given to you in your academic assignments and make good reports on that, make good assignments on that. So this is the testing of that skill of yours to assess that whether you are able to study there or not. So this is the actual purpose of task 1. So if you understand that, you will get to know how to understand the question of writing task 1 as well as how to answer it in an impressive way. Okay, so now we are going to move to next part where we are going to start our answer. So I really hope that you have had a good look on the entire question and you have understood every part of it. You know that there are four countries, you know that there is comparison between two different years, and you also know that what that data represents. Obviously, the ratio of part-time workers in different countries of United Kingdom. Well, moving ahead, now we are going to start our answer. After understanding the question, we are going to start our answer. Answer should start with a proper introduction of the question, and that would certainly be a great paraphrasing of your prompt. If you are paraphrasing it well, definitely your start is going to be a great beginning. Or if you are writing the same things that has been mentioned in your question, it is going to be very problematic because you are not showing your range in language. So that's how we introduce it. Let's see how do we introduce it. Okay, so introduction should be paraphrasing as I told you. So how do we paraphrase it? It says the bar chart depicts the shift in the percentage of part-time employment across various regions of the United Kingdom between 1980 and 2010, which further highlights disparities among England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. So I have paraphrased this entire statement by saying that the bar graph is a depiction. The bar graph showcases the percentage of different part-time employments and most importantly the shift in that percentage, because you can clearly see there is a shift. If you see the representation of 1980 that has been given in green color, you will see it is lesser in a number of countries, right? But when we see the data of 2010, which is depicted by blue color, it is showing that it increased with the passage of time, except one country that we will analyze in our entire answer. You can also mention at the end, because this till this part it is a complete paraphrasing of your question. Now you can also add something to your introduction by mentioning something that is very much visible to the naked eye. That is, it highlights disparities among England, Wales. Obviously there are disparities in the data of these countries. For example, some countries present data in a very low number, which is around 10%, but some countries are crossing 30% as well. So there is significant disparity, significant difference among these countries, which we can highlight in our introduction as well. Okay, what should be the second part of our task one? That should be an overview. There is no golden thumb rule that you are supposed to write overview at the beginning or overview at the end, because some of the students also mention overview at the end of their answer as well, which is not incorrect. But as I told you, it is a report writing, it is a kind of analysis of something. So if you are writing your overview just after your introduction, it means you are giving a good abstract to your answer. You are telling us that what you are going to elaborate or what is the most important part of this entire question. So if you write your overview just after introduction, it is going to present a good impression in the mind of the examiner. Okay, how do we write overview? Let's have a look on it. Okay, it says it is evident from an overall perspective that there has been a general increase in the ratio of part-time employment from 1980 to 2010 across the United Kingdom. Most importantly, if you have to see the most significant or the most common thing in this image, that is increase in the number. You can see 75% of the countries actually witness the increase in this ratio, which you can clearly see in this image. So in overview, we are going to highlight the same thing, that if we have a good look on this image, the general idea is that in almost every country, the data actually increased. And this is the same thing we have to highlight in our overview. Right? But can we add in that? However, this trend is not uniform across all regions. If you have a good look on it, you can see that the pattern of being increased or decreased is not uniform. It is not a kind of a single pattern that you can see, that if something is increasing in one country 10%, then in another country that increase is either low or it is higher. So you can mention that thing as well, which is very prevalent about this image. Now we come to the part where we are going to elaborate it all, where we are going to make good comparisons between the data and where we are going to highlight all the main things related to this image. So we are going to divide that analysis in two paragraphs, body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2. Now, when you move to your body paragraphs, there should be a smart move. That smart move is to divide the data into two parts. If you do that, it is going to be very easy for you to organize your answer. Here, I am going to divide the data into the countries. For example, in body paragraph 1, I am going to take up two countries out of these four, and in the another one, the remaining two countries will be elaborated. So let's have a look on our body paragraph 1. What it shows, it says in 1980, a quarter of England's population was employed part-time. Quarter, you clearly understand we are talking about the percentage, that is 25%, and we are talking about England's population. So if you see, or if you make a relevance between the image and this description, you can clearly see in 1980 how many people were employed part-time in England. The bar is right between 20 and 30. So it is obviously 25% that is employed part-time in England. And if we talk about another country, if we make a comparison between England and another country, that is Wales, we will describe it by saying, while Wales had a higher proportion at approximately 33%. And in the same way, you can make a connection between this data and the bar that is showing that it is around 33%. So it is the data of 1980. Now we are going to talk about the shift in these two countries. What shift was there? It says both nations experienced a rise in part-time employment by 2010. Obviously, we can see in England there is a rise if we talk about 2010, and even in Wales there is also a rise that is more than, you can say, 35%. All right. Further, we will describe it with England's percentage surpassing 30% and Wales exceeding 35%. Earlier, England was standing on 25%, but in 2010, it surpassed the mark of 30%. And if we talk about Wales, earlier it was just about 30%, but now it has crossed the mark of 35%, which we have elaborated here. So in this way, comparisons are absolutely important if you are writing this report, and your comparisons are going to showcase your range of data analysis as well as how you can play with your words, how can you play with your different sentence structures, and that is in front of you. So I would request you to take a screenshot of it, and you will be able to make good comparisons by yourself as well. Okay, moving to next part where two countries are still remaining and we will have to make an analysis of these two countries as well. That is, okay, in the context of Scotland, it had the lowest percentage of part-time employees in 1980, which was slightly above 10%. So you can make a comparison. We are talking about Scotland here, and in Scotland, the initial data was very close to 10% only. But then it certainly went up, which we are going to describe in the next part of our answer. Okay, nevertheless, this figure climbed to nearly 20% by 2010, marking a substantial increase. And you can again make a comparison that initially it was just about 10%, but in 2010 it went close to 20%, which has been mentioned here in this report. And the comparison is very clear. The comparison between 2 years from 1980 to 2010. Okay, further, conversely, Northern Ireland, obviously, if you have a good look on the picture, there is only one country which is exception. Three we have already discussed, which actually witnessed a hike in this data, but there is one country which actually saw the decline. And now we are going to describe that decline in our own way. And how would we do that? Conversely, Northern Ireland experienced a decline in its part-time workforce. Initially, around 15% of its population engaged in part-time employment in 1980, which was mentioned here. You can clearly see the green bar, which shows that in 1980 it was very close to 15%, which decreased marginally by a few percentage points by 2010. You can see here that it came a little downward in the subsequent year. So this is how we present, we make comparisons between different kinds of data. We have to highlight the main things. For example, if there is a substantial hike in something or if there is a decline in something, you certainly have to make sure that you have mentioned it rightly in correct grammatical words with a great vocabulary range and the perfect coherence, that you start from the beginning and you are carrying it through in the similar manner till the end of your answer. So I'm going to show you the final version of our answer. You can have a look and you can take a screenshot of it as well. So you can refer to it when you are solving your own bar graph in your answers. All right, so that was all from today's workshop, and I really hope that it is going to help you to solve bar graph questions in a great way. Well, if you really like this video, I would suggest you to contact us for more details. If you want to know anything else, we are available in offline as well as online training mode. Apart from that, we also provide visa guidance for those who are planning to migrate abroad. Thank you so much.